Hello beauties! Today I'm sharing exactly how you can pick the right hairstyle to completely transform the way you look. No more second guessing whether you should or shouldn't have long or short hair. No more worrying about if you're too old or too young for a certain hairstyle. As a hairstylist of 19 years, I'll help you understand your unique face shape, your facial proportions, facial structure, and more so you can choose the haircuts that complement you best regardless of the length. Are you ready? Let's go! So why do you start questioning your hair more as you age? Over time, your face evolves, your hairline maybe moves a little, your jawline may soften, weight gain and weight loss can alter your face as well, and we often start questioning if the length of our hair is helping to make us look older or younger. So what's the difference between long and short hair? Longer hair creates vertical lines, while short hair creates horizontal lines. So long hair, it tends to draw the eye down a little bit, which helps to lengthen and slim the face. And shorter hair, it draws the eye side to side, adding a little bit of width, which can shorten the face. Now, just because you have a long face doesn't mean you need to avoid long hair, and just because you have a shorter face doesn't mean you need to avoid short hair. But the way the hair is actually cut changes things a bit, and this brings us to the layers factor. Layers create movement and balance, and they are the great equalizer for any face shape. However, depending on your hair type and density, the amount of layers in a haircut will vary person to person depending on those two things. If you have fine hair with a low density, you can still have layers, just more minimally. And if you have coarse hair with a high density, you have the ability to have more layers. And later in the video, we'll be discussing in more detail another way that you can check to find out what amount of layers works best for your hair. Understanding your face shape also gives you a better idea on whether or not longer or shorter hair works best for you. There are a total of 7 face shapes, which you can see here, but you'll also want to consider your facial thirds as well. So your facial thirds are broken up into 3 sections, and these 3 sections determine which part of your face makes up the majority of your facial length. So in my case, my facial length, it comes from the middle and lower third, with my jaw area specifically having the most length in my thirds. So this is an area I have to pay attention to with how long or short I wear my hair, as well as with layers. The last thing to pay attention to is your cranial top. So your cranial top is how much height you have in your head shape. So this is the distance, your cranial top, it goes from your hairline to your crown, and how high or low your cranial top is can alter how long or short a hairstyle actually looks on you, regardless of the length. So now that we've gone over the basics, let's get into what length will work best for your face shape and features, and then we will discuss in more detail the layers factor later. And if you're not sure of your own face shape and proportions, I have a link to my website below in the description and pinned comment, where I actually now offer a face shape analysis. I am very excited to be able to offer you guys a service where I can measure your face shape and your facial proportions to give you haircut recommendations specific to your unique features. So check the link out below if that's something that interests you. I am very excited about it. And I also have some previous videos that explain face shape in more detail as well, if you want to check those out too. We're going to start with oval, heart, and diamond shapes. These shapes all tend to have more noticeable length than they do width. Oval shapes, you have gentle curves in the hair and jawline, while heart and diamond shapes, you have more angles through your jaw. Heart shapes, you have more width in your forehead, where diamond shapes, you guys have less width, having more narrowness. So these shapes, you tend to have the most versatility when it comes to long and short hair. So my face shape is heart. I have a widow's peak, and my chin comes to that classic heart point, and my lower third makes up 38% of my entire facial length. So my jaw, chin area is definitely a prominent feature of my face. I have worn my hair in various lengths through the years, from long to short, but I really find my sweet spot to be about the mid-length point. So with my hair at its current length, which I consider it mid-length. I feel like I'm getting to where it might be long, but it's overall mid-length. I overall just feel like it creates this nice balance with my facial length. The eye is drawn down just enough without adding the illusion of more length in my shape. When my hair is longer, while I don't think it looks bad, it definitely takes center stage, which in my younger years, I was all about my hair being the one and only focal point. But as I've gotten older, I want my entire appearance to shine, not just one aspect of it, you know? When my hair is shorter, I do like the attention that it brings to my jawline, but because it's shorter, I'm able to create a little more volume, which also helps to create those horizontal lines. And I think that it also helps to prevent my chin from looking like it has like too much of a point, so it still balances things. Overall, these three shapes of oval, heart, and diamond have the most versatility to how long or short you want to wear your hair of all the face shapes. Heart and diamond shapes, because of the angles in your face, there is plenty of natural eye movement through your shape. The eye is unlikely to just get set on just one area. So this means if your hair is longer, it's less likely to just drag the eye down, depending of course on how many layers are in the hair. And with it shorter, you don't have to worry about it creating too much width through your shape. Oval shapes, while you have less natural angles than heart and diamond, you still have such a balance between your length and width that you're able to pull off both those long and short styles. But where you part your hair is going to be what creates the illusion of more angles in your face, or keeping you in line with your oval shape. So side parts are going to help enhance your cheekbones and create the appearance of more angles through your jaw, where a middle part is going to keep you right in line with that oval shape as it kind of comes in and just frames the face very nice. Let's now move into our shorter shapes of round, square, and pear. Round and square shapes, you actually benefit the most from longer lengths. The vertical lines created from the longer hair help to add the illusion of more length through your shape. These lines help to minimize your width, and longer hair in general will give you more of an oval appearance. Lobs, I find to be your sweet spot when it comes to shorter lengths. So a lob prevents the eye from landing right at the jawline, which often tends to be a wide point for you. So it goes down just a little bit. And because you have enough visual length from the lob, it creates the illusion of more length through your shape, even though it's a shorter hairstyle. Anything shorter may create the illusion of more width. It also removes the possibility to minimize any features you may not prefer. However, if you like putting your jawline on display and you love it, by all means go for it. If you feel your best and most confident self wearing a shorter style, then that is going to shine through more than anything else. Pear shapes, you tend to have more facial length compared to round and square, but you hold the most width through your cheeks and jaw. So it makes your face maybe appear a little shorter than it actually is. So because of this, I think that lengths past the collarbone serve you really well. It creates those vertical lines to enhance your length while minimizing the width through your lower third. Like round and square, a lob is going to be your sweet spot for shorter lengths. And of all of the shapes, regardless of length, I actually think your shape does the best with bangs. Because of the difference between your narrow hairline and wider jawline, bangs sort of help to create balance between those 2 points, and it ends up blending and harmonizing your features. And finally, oblong shapes. Oblongs can be more narrow, or you can still have a little bit of width to your shape, but your length is the most dominant thing about your face. So while people think the obvious answer is that oblong shapes cannot have long hair, I don't really agree with that statement. I think that you can have long hair with a longer shape. It's just going to be about the style of your cut that determines how much it drags your face down, as it does with all of the shapes, which we're about to discuss more. But overall, I think mid-length is your best bet for not adding too much extra length in your shape. In my opinion, shorter styles that land above the jawline, I actually think in a way enhance the length overall. Like, yes, it prevents the eye from moving further down. And if you're wanting to minimize your length, I don't think that they are your best choice. This is also where understanding your facial thirds comes into play. So this photo of Kelly Rowland here with bangs. The bangs help give more balance to her facial length with the cut because the bangs are covering that top third. The curls also help to add the illusion of more width that I think this style suits her better over the sleek bangless option, even though both cuts still land in similar spots. The bob with bangs and curls really helps to balance her shape a little bit better. If you like shorter styles though, with an oblong, opting for pixies that create more width through the sides over length through the top will be better for you. So now that we've addressed all the shapes and ideal lengths for them, let's now talk about the make or break factor and how those lengths affect your face, which is layers. So any length of hair that is from the shoulders or longer can drag the face down if it doesn't have the right amount of layers. So one length haircuts, they sound nice in the fact that they can be easier to style and keep the hair looking full, but in reality, having no movement in your hair is what can put you in that dated category or have you questioning if your hair is aging you. And this is even more of a concern if your hair is thin. Determining how many layers your hair can tolerate to give your hair movement, you first need to figure out how much hair you have below your parietal ridge. So your parietal ridge is the section of your head where the comb, when it's placed flat against your hair, it starts to leave the shape of your head. And this amount of hair left below this section determines how many layers your hair can handle, which also determines how long you can let your hair naturally grow and it still holds movement, shape, and look thick. So this is an area that you never want to cut layers into your hair. This whole section of hair, it's your perimeter, and this is what creates the weight line for your entire haircut, and this is what creates that baseline in the sides that keep your hair looking thick no matter how long your hair is. So as you can see, I have minimal hair in the front sides of my hair here. It doesn't grow at the same rate like the rest of my hair. You know, if I even lift up this top point, there's just even less. So pretty much any thickness that is in my sides comes from the hair here that's above my parietal ridge. And then obviously if I push the hair that's in the back of my head forward, it creates the appearance of even more thickness. So if I cut too many or too short of layers in my top section here, I disrupt the weight line underneath because I have minimal hair in that hair below my parietal ridge. So if I take out too much layers here, it makes this look thinner because I simply just don't have the thickness here that I need, and I can basically only cut just a very small amount of layers in the very top of my head for how I like to wear my hair. So if this area is nice and full, you're able to wear more layers through the top of your head without it being an issue, meaning you have more wiggle room for wearing longer lengths, as you'll easily be able to create movement and layers in your hair to prevent the length from dragging your face down. If you're like me and you have less hair in this area, mid-length cuts are going to be your sweet spot. If you like length regardless of your face shape, you'll be able to have enough layers that create movement in your hair to keep the eye moving and not drag your face down. And shorter styles like lobs and bobs are always going to give you more room to have more layers without jeopardizing that weight line. And if there is one thing that will age anyone, it is making your hair look thinner than it actually is. Last but not least, you'll want to make note of your cranial top. I have gone in depth in a previous video about cranial tops, but your cranial top is your head shape. So how high or low it is based on how long it is in ratio to your top third, which is your forehead. So a high cranial top means you have more head shape length than your forehead length, and a low cranial top means you have less length in your head shape than in your forehead. So a high cranial top, it gives you natural volume. And this means that those of you with shorter face shapes, like a round and square, if you have a high cranial top, you are going to have the ability to wear shorter styles because the height of your head gives the illusion of more length in your face shape. Those of you with more length in your face naturally, and if you have a high cranial top, you may want to be more cognizant of how long you wear your hair. If you have a low cranial top, shorter styles can make your face appear maybe a little more wide or bigger than it naturally is, and you may feel like you're always fighting for volume in your hair. So side parts are ideal for you to wear over middle parts as they help give the illusion of more length and shape in your overall style. I'm curious to know which length of hair you feel suits you best. Is it short, long, or that sweet spot of mid-length? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from all of you. If you'd like to find out which haircuts would work best to fit your face shape and unique features, you can check out my face shape analysis. That's a digital service I now offer. My website is linked below. I really hope you all enjoyed this week's video. Drop a heart emoji in the comments if you did, and in the meantime, I will leave you with this video you can check out right here next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.